Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Are you making enough at your minimum wage job to get by? We take a look at Alberta's minimum wage.
It's more and more expensive.
With a looming teacher strike, how is it going to affect post-secondary ambitions?
Where we might see a delay, if there is a prolonged strike, would be in getting those final course marks.
And celebrating a half-century of bridge building and teamwork.
NewsWatch starts now.
Welcome to our first NAIT NewsWatch show of the semester. Where Alberta was once the leader, we are now trailing behind the rest of the country.
Alberta now has the lowest minimum wage in Canada after 5 provinces across the country have raised theirs. Our Sarah Shadewasser joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
Thanks, guys. In 2018, the Alberta NDP increased minimum wage from $13.60 to $15 an hour, making it the highest in the country at the time. But just 1 year later, the UCP lowered minimum wage to $13 for workers under 18. There has not been a change in Alberta's minimum wage since. With rising cost of living across Alberta, young students and workers are starting to feel the effects on their wallets.
There's not much to save. There's nothing to save.
Kaylee Wagner, a University of Alberta student, juggles school and work while still making time for her family and friends. Wagner works a part-time job to support herself through school and has opted to take classes part-time to afford tuition.
I don't think that I could work enough minimum wage hours and be in school full-time to support myself.
But Wagner isn't the only student in Edmonton struggling.
The cost of living, rent, groceries, it's pretty tough.
I find it very difficult, especially with how there's the act involved where minimum wage doesn't go with inflation in Alberta.
Especially when you have to sacrifice some of your hours as an employee and then you don't make that up. So there's a big gap where you should be making more.
With most provinces having annual increases tied to regional inflation rates, every province and territory across the country has seen a minimum wage increase this year, except Alberta. With most minimum wage workers being between the ages of 15 and 24, Alberta has the highest youth unemployment rate in the country at 17%.
Everyone knows that it's more and more expensive. And with a minimum wage staying stagnant, we have all sorts of workers who are being prevented from being able to take care of themselves and their families.
Alberta Living Wage Network says the current livable wage in the Edmonton area is $20.85 per hour.
We're going to keep talking about this because families keep talking to us about it.
I really just hope to not be so stressed about money all the time. I just want to be able to have a little place to live that's safe.
In a press conference on October 1st, the Alberta Federation of Labour called for Alberta's minimum wage to be raised to over $20 an hour. They cited rising inflation rates as well as skyrocketing cost of living in our province.
Thanks, Sarah. What province has the highest minimum wage?
Well, currently Nunavut has the highest minimum wage at $19.75. This was a recent spike just in September. They had their last increase early last year when they went from $16 an hour to $19, and the government has cited that they will be doing annual increases going forward.
Has the Alberta government announced any plans to increase minimum wage?
Well, we did contact Joseph Scow, the Minister of Jobs, for a statement. We have yet to hear back at the time of airing. Danielle Smith has come out defending the government of Alberta's decision to not increase the minimum wage. She said just because of Alberta's overall affordability compared to other provinces, as well as our lack of provincial sales tax.
Thanks, Sarah. That's Sarah Shadewasser reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
With no deal reached yet with Alberta teachers, students and parents are left waiting and wondering how it could affect post-secondary enrollment. NAIT says students should still apply now and not wait, even if a strike does go into effect.
If a strike happens, students can absolutely feel free to keep applying to NAIT. The main place where we might see a delay if there is a prolonged strike would be in getting those final course marks. If that happens and we have students with a conditional offer of admission, we would send them an email to make sure that they know we're allowing some extra time.
NAIT says it's ready to be flexible, but the longer the strike goes on, the more students could be left waiting on their future.
The Canada Post strike is impacting many across the country.
NAIT's campus bookstore, Shop at NAIT, is feeling the impact when it comes to getting supplies to students. Staff at Shop at NAIT say the strike is causing shipping delays and leaving students looking for alternative options.
The students that are both in and outside of Edmonton, and lots of them rely on our shipments through Canada Post. So those students now have to either use a different shipping provider, which usually comes with an extra cost. I have seen some students prefer e-text now over waiting.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says the strike is about fair wages, safer working conditions, and expanded postal services. Canada Post has suspended service until further notice.
Edmontonians stepped up in a big way last weekend, filling doorsteps and donations bins with thousands of pounds of food. Edmonton's Food Bank hosted their food drive over the weekend. The Latter-day Saints facilitated the food drive, going door to door and collecting bags of food from neighborhood donors.
So the door-to-door campaign, which is facilitated by the LDS, is our single largest campaign over the course of the year. And we have weighed in over 80,000 kilograms of food.
80,000 kilograms is the equivalent of feeding thousands of families across Edmonton, and the need continues to grow. Every box, can, and bag helps, especially as more people rely on the food bank with colder months approaching.
50 years of doing anything is a long time, and NAIT is celebrating its 50th annual milestone in bridge building. And they're off. The 50th annual Gary Stroick Bridge Building Contest was put into motion last Saturday at White Mud Park. Teams competed against each other to see who could build and test out their two-rope suspension bridges the fastest across White Mud Creek. The contest also consisted of a mock rescue of an injured colleague who they would bring back across the creek.
So Gary Stroich was an instructor in our program, Construction Engineering Technology, and to be quite honest, he was the heart and soul of the program.
Stroich passed away in March 2021 during COVID-19, but his legacy continues to live on, and the Purple Band team cheered on in victory, coming out in first place and winning.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at the weather and if the fall season is finally here.
And we take a look at the Elks playoff push.
I'm Dylan Weiner. Coming up in sports, our men's volleyball team has a tough season ahead of them, and our men's basketball team has their home opener tonight. And the Elks kept their playoff hopes alive. All that and more in sports.
Hi, I'm Avery Stenson. This year we had an unusually warm September. With October starting, we may see those temperatures start to dip, but I'll have more for you after the break.
Maddie, it feels like there's been a cool off this week.
Yeah, I had to get my sweater out of the closet. I just hope it doesn't get too cold this weekend.
Our Avery Stinson has more on this weekend's forecast and if that hope will come true.
Thanks guys. We had an unusually warm September going the whole month with temperatures above 15. But with the start of October, we may lose hope for those warmer days. Fall is upon us and has taken over the province with orange leaves and cool temperatures. And that trend will be continuing as we look ahead to this weekend's forecast. Over in Calgary, they'll have a high of 12 and a low of 6 with a 60% chance of showers. In Jasper, the coldest spot around the province, they'll only have a high of 8 and a low of 1, and another city with a 60% chance of showers. In Fort Mac, only a 40% chance of showers with a high of 10 and a low of 6. Back in Edmonton, we have a high of 13 and a low of 5, but do watch out for a little bit of rain. If we look at our averages, we are above our average. We usually have plus 13 and a low of 2, but we did not hit our records because in 1892 we had a plus 28 day, but in 1952 we had a low of -7. With it being October and the temperature continuing to cool off, it might be time to get your Halloween decorations up this weekend.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
Welcome to our first question of the week for the season.
We partnered with the NAIT Nugget to bring you this week's question of the week. Our Ben Wang has more.
Hi everyone, this is Ben Wang from NAIT NewsWatch, and welcome to our very first question of the week. Fall is here with leaves changing. and I'm curious about what your favorite autumn activity is. Please send your answer to the NAIT Nugget Instagram account, and I can't wait to hear from you.
Thanks, Ben. I just can't wait to go out and enjoy the autumn. That's our question of the week. Don't forget to follow and send your response to the NAIT Nugget on Instagram. The Elks have survived another week in the push for the playoffs.
Nearing an end, you gotta wait a bit longer for a men's volleyball team to host nationals on home court. Our Dylan Weinert has more.
Thanks, guys. One of our teams was given a big opportunity. The Elks men's volleyball season is just around the corner, and they're preparing to face some of the hardest competition. The men's volleyball team has been given the chance to host nationals this year on home court. They're hoping to make some changes to prepare to face the best of the best around the country.
Definitely our game plan will change throughout the season based on the players that kind of rise to the opportunities and challenges ahead of us and stuff like that, and who we're playing, of course, will change and what the game plan will be.
With this being the first time ever that NAIT has hosted any kind of nationals, the pressure's high on this experienced team. Their quest to defend home court starts October 17th here at NAIT against Red Deer Polytechnic Kings. The NAIT Elks men's basketball team are getting their last practices before their home opener. The NAIT Elks men's basketball team had a practice this Monday, preparing for their home opener. The team is welcoming 6 new players to the roster this year, hoping they can be the missing piece of the puzzle to this young team. Head coach Attica is going to his second year as head coach of this team, with last year being a learning experience. They're looking to keep things simple and not look too far ahead into this season.
I think the most important thing is kind of focusing on the day-to-day goals and what can we do that weekend and win games to get to our ultimate goal.
The men's team is looking to build off the 14-6 season they had last year with their home opener tonight against Keano College. The Edmonton Elks have survived yet another week in the push to make the playoffs in the West Division. The gym is still fairly busy, but Commonwealth is pretty quiet compared to the 30,000 fans that showed up last week, with this week being a bye. The Elks are still putting in work to try hard and climb the standings in the West Division. They are currently last in the West, but only 4 points back of Winnipeg and BC. They had a big win last week against first place Saskatchewan that really meant a lot to the team.
You play, again, one of the best teams in the league, and you find a way to finish it at home. It's a huge momentum builder going into a bye week, and everybody feels good on the bye week. We can get rested up, and then we can come back and try to finish the season strong.
The Elks' next home game is October 11th against Winnipeg, a must-win game for them. The Canadian Football League is about to undergo some new changes. The league's owner has announced a couple of series of changes in the next couple seasons. But what do these changes mean for football at all levels across the country? Artia Thorpe has more.
The Canadian Football League is introducing new rules over the next 2 seasons, adjustments that could have an impact on minor football programs across Canada.
The 3-down football and the wider field and the way that we're running routes, the way that we're calling plays will remain a lot of the same. I think decision making when it comes to third down when you're getting into the field goal territory might change a little bit, but I think for the most part, for minor football, it'll be about the same.
These changes will include goalposts being moved to the back of the end zones will be shortened from 20 to 15 yards, the field length will be shortened from 110 to 100 yards, bench areas must be on opposite sides in all stadiums, there will be a 35-second countdown after every play, the Rouge will no longer include a single point for a missed field goal or a punt that goes through the end zone.
Well, I think there's going to have to be a period of adapting, and this is something that Stuart Johnston talked about, and he did reach out to the parties involved in lower levels of football, and there's a monetary issue there in terms of making sure the fields are the right size and everybody's in line with the new Canadian football rules and style.
There's been many mixed reviews amongst players and fans, some good, some bad. Time will tell whether these changes impact pro and amateur football.
Well, guys, it looks like it should be an exciting year in NAIT sports.
Absolutely, Dylan. Hopefully our volleyball team has a good chance at bringing home another banner.
I don't watch much sports, but I will wear my Elks colors to show my pride. Thank you, Dylan.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Coming up after the break, we get rocking and rolling.
More like sliding the rocks, as we kick off our Try This segment for this season on ice.
consistency in your slide and your release is super, super important to kind of get that feel.
Coming up on NewsWatch Entertainment, we're going to be looking at a new book by a Canadian author about a little girl's road trip from Calgary to New York.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Welcome back to NAIT NewsWatch. I don't know about you, but I really want to try something new.
Well, Sean, I know just the right person to talk to. Our Benjamin Wang is waiting at the Seville Community Sports Center for our first try this of the season.
Have you ever heard about a sport in Canada which has long and rich history? I know what you're actually thinking, but it is not ice hockey. This sport has brought Canada numerous of championships on the world stage and even at the Olympics. But what is it? I'm here to unravel the mystery for you today.
So if you feel the ice, you'll feel it's like kind of bumpy.
Of course it's curling. It wasn't really meant to be a big mystery.
With that outturn, it's going to spin the way it's spinning.
My coach was really patient, teaching me both the theory and the practical skills.
Yeah.
The first time I tried, I missed and sent the rock to another lane, and I felt so embarrassed. But my coach encouraged me, reminded me to keep trying and to practice a lot. She was supportive and never let me get discouraged since I was a beginner.
Practicing your precision first, like whether you make the shot or not, like it really only matters if you throw it the way you want to throw it. So practicing your consistency in your slide and your release is super, super important to kind of get that feel. Yeah, that was good. That was awesome. Oh, that's okay. Yes, that's okay. You good?
I just slipped. A bit clumsy here. Actually, I'm getting stronger.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, Benjamin, do it. Do it. Show them. Show them you can do it. And now let's hear his final thoughts.
All right, everybody. After trying all this, I found out it is such an eye-opening experience. Growing up from a tropical background, I did not know what to expect, but it just turned out fabulously fun and engaging. I think a beautiful balance of teamwork and technique finesse, which I absolutely loved. And you know, if you really like it and you really want to try it, I highly recommend you guys to come and try this. NAIT NewsWatch, Benjamin Wang.
The Edmonton Film Festival is back in town, with many Canadian filmmakers highlighting their passion for filmmaking.
Seems like I should get my popcorn ready. Here's Josh McCord with the newest in entertainment.
Thanks, team. The festival is showing many films by many filmmakers who go under the radar in the slate of many Hollywood movies, including a film about Indigenous culture and history called What We Carry. Many in the local film scene are coming together to show off their creations at the Edmonton International Film Festival. Among the films shown was a film named What We Carry, a film following the tragic and uplifting history and stories behind many Indigenous people. Many of the cast and crew were there to promote the film.
Favorite thing about this process and this film was gaining a whole new family. I have, 3 new sisters. I have Bracken, I have Kat, I have Willow, I have Katrinka, and I have everybody else that comes along with them that help make this story what it is today.
This is just one of the films shown at the festival. The event was hosted at the City Centre Mall Landmark Cinemas and premieres many films from many indie filmmakers. People around Edmonton are always looking to relax after hard days of work. A lot of those people are deciding to do this relaxation at the Pyramid of Sound event. Every month, Edmontonians bask in the different pyramids at the Mutter Conservatory, listening to various calming instruments like singing bowls, a triangle, and a rain stick. Patrons were encouraged to relax and even meditate.
I think that everybody would come and try to meditate or relax a little bit more if it didn't feel so overwhelming. So we're trying to just make it seem fun and inviting, and then obviously really, really relaxing.
The Mutter Conservatory hopes patrons will join them and take some time to ease their stress. Their next class is October 27th. A Canadian author by the name of Natasha Dean has released a new children's book. The novel follows a young girl as we follow her journey on a road trip as she discovers what courage really is. The book is called The Summer of Dragonflies. It's about a young girl named Guppy who goes on a long road trip from Calgary to New York with her parents without any phones or any way to entertain herself.
I really liked the challenge of writing a funny story, like a really, really laugh out loud funny story. And that's one of like the best compliments I get is when people are like, this actually made me laugh, and not just book laugh, you know, but like genuinely laugh.
Natasha has been promoting this story all throughout Canada, recently doing promotion in Toronto and now here in Edmonton. She hopes to create more children's stories in the future.
Well, it does seem like there will be lots of films. I should catch the film festival. Are there any events you guys are going to this month?
Well, I might get some rest and relaxation at the next Pyramid of Sound event.
I think I'm just going to buy Natasha Dean's new book. It looks like a good read.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
Well, Maddie, I have to check out the film festival tomorrow.
Yeah, those movies sound pretty interesting.
Thank you for tuning in on our first NAIT NewsWatch show of the season.
See you next week.